Hello, dear children. Today we are going to discuss a topic of biology, that is natural resources. In this lesson, natural resources, we are going to learn about natural resources and their judicious use so that they would be available for us with the immediate surroundings, and then if they will also be available for the future generations. So with the above given slide, a simple definition has been given. Children, have a look over there. Natural resources can be defined as the resources that exist on the planet, useful for us, provided by nature. Right. So this is regarding the definition, what natural resources mean. We already have an idea. From our early classes, we have been studying about different natural resources, their utility, their necessity for us, if they are abundantly present or if they are becoming scarce, everything has been learned. So under this topic natural resources, we will be studying certain subtopics. So let's just have a look over it. Yeah. So what are the subtopics under this? First one is the case study of Warangal district, where two villages have been studied. Then next, water for all, availability of water. It could be how much is the fresh water available for us, marine water, or if it is frozen, if it's underground, its percentages would be studied under this. Next one, the case study 2 of Kotapalli village, how the farmers have taken the help of certain organizations so that they could take care of the scarcity of different resources in their surroundings, specifically water, and their farming. The next subtopic, source of irrigation, water in Telangana and AP. Next, natural resources around us. The next one, conservation, a vital concern. That is how conservation is being an important factor, and what are the different reforms being taken by us or by government so that we are conserving our nature, and then which is helping us in survival and for also useful for the future generation. So let's just have a look at the next slide. What would be the different natural resources available for us? Again, when we talk about the natural resources, again two types, renewable and non-renewable ones. What are the renewable resources? They are available in infinite quantity. That is, they can be used, right? How much ever is necessary, right? For example, it could be the sunlight, wind, water. Again, there are non-renewable resources. Now, these non-renewable resources are limited. They are limited in abundance due to their non-renewable nature. Though it's been provided by nature, what is happening here, ma? Here they have been like non-renewable. As a result, if they have been used up, there would be some scarcity if they are excessively being used, because they've been made again is taking long time. Okay, and now these availability may run out in the future, right? So these kind of resources are the non-renewable ones. Example, fossil fuels, minerals, etc. Now, if we talk about these renewable and non-renewable resources, we might have also got certain ideas. So you can just have a look at the question, which resource is scarce in your area? wherever we are living in, there could be a lot of resources available. Now, which resource is scarce in your area? It could be water, or sometimes polluted soil, or very common thing, fossil fuels, something like petrol, diesel and all. As a result of them being less scarce, the cost is increasing, isn't it? So these resources, whichever are scarce in your area, you can make a note on it, right? Why they are scarce in your area? What could be the possibility of becoming scarce? And other thing is, what measures can be taken to come out of this problem? You can make a note on it. Yes. Next, the first topic we would go through case study. So based on the scarcity of the water in the Telangana area specifically, a survey was made. What is a survey? That is, people move on in different localities in a area, and they would find out what are the reasons for any problem, any they are facing. So here a survey is being made in the villages of Vanaparthi and Vatticharla of Warangal district of Telangana region. Next, then here what was known was Vanaparthi specifically was a no scarcity area, or what, like it was an area where there was no scarcity of water. Okay, it was enough for their farming and for their survival. But in the second case, Vadicherla, water was scarce, that is groundwater availability was very less. What could be the reason for it? Has to be known by people who have gone for a survey in those areas. Now these two villages, Vaniparthi and Vatticharla, both of them, like being the neighboring villages, people living in those areas, bearing same kind of like similar kind of weather, climate, almost similar kind of soil, right? Farming procedures and all. So what was making the difference in the groundwater levels? Because groundwater levels would be should be the similar in people living in the same areas, right? So to study with the what could be the difference, a questionnaire on 25 households on changes in the groundwater, right, during the past 5 years was made. So what could they come out in that questionnaire? They would ask them what is their like socio-economic status, if they have a well, if the well contains the water, or if other than farming any other things that they've been holding, or what is the reason for them having enough amount of water and for these people not having enough amount of water, all this. So at the end they could come to a certain conclusion, right, where Vatticharla, they did not have any other source of water. But Vanaparthi, similar kind of situation, but they were maintaining certain kind of percolation tanks. That is percolation tanks so that water percolates into the groundwater. This was the slight difference which they could make out. So we can have a look at the, based on the questionnaire, certain tables were made. Yeah. So under the table 1, how much area under irrigation in the village Vanaparthi and Vatticharla. In Vanaparthi, some 3,791 acres of land was being utilized, like for throughout being occupied by the people living in the village, right? So of that, only 25% of the area was irrigated. How many wells were they utilizing? 155 wells. What was the sample size which they have taken? 25 number. That is the well census. Well census in the sense, right? People bearing the wells, who based on whose ideology these wells were, right, made, and then their questionnaire was prepared. Next, in case of Vadicharla, 2970 acres, 2,970 acres. Percentage area irrigated is just right? 15%, number of wells were 175, sample size was 25, right? Even though the number of wells were less in Vanaparthi, they could get more amount of profits, right? So such tables would be given and then questions would be asked based on it. You can have a look at the immediate question which has been asked over there, saying what is the total area in acres in Vanaparthi? What would be the total area over there? You can just see what is the total amount, what is the total area which has been so based on this we can just have a look at it. What is the total area? 3791 acres. Of that, only 25% is being used for irrigation, right? If this is for 100%, right? If this is for 100%, how much would be for 25%? So it would be 3791 divided by 4, right? So if we are calculating it in such a manner, we would come to a very proper conclusion, right? Such questions. So based on this calculation, it was very clearly known how much area was being like cultivated for or being used for irrigation. Approximately some 947.2 acres of the land. That is only the 25% of the land which is being irrigated. But even then, you can just check with the end result, enough amount of availability of water, the profits comparatively were much better in case of Vanaparthi rather than Vadichala. What could be the reasons? Because they have been with percolation tanks. What are the percolation tanks? These percolation tanks are nothing but which are masonry structures. Masonry structures made out of gravel, sand, loam, clay, mud, which is laid across the sides of the bed so that it has been stable and it is able to help maintain, right, the water as a cut-off trench and also helping in percolation of the water if it is been stagnated for a long time. Instead of simply getting evaporated, at least groundwater level was being we can say recharged over there. So based on the status after 5 years, right, in case of Vadicharla, what is the change in the area under irrigation? This is again after the 5 years. So the next question here, where the percentage change in the area under irrigation was -14 and in Vadicharla is -30. It means there was a loss, huge loss over there, right? Then percentage decline in the number of wells were 39 and in case of Vadicharla -68. And then change in the area under the crops, it's almost like paddy -17 in case of Vanaparthi and -22 and -50 during Kharif and Rabi seasons in paddy in case of Vadichala. It means it's already getting reduced. But in case of Vanaparthi, you can have a look, cotton, gingerly and all other crops it were increasing. But in the other cases in Vadichala, it was a reduce in the number. So what could be the reason? Because they have opted for certain techniques or certain structures which were helping them to save enough amount of water in the ground levels and it could be used up, right, for the future whenever it is being necessary, right. Let's just have a look at the next table which talks about the annual expenditure on the well irrigation for large and small farmers. Vanaparthi area, depth of the bore well was like 130 to 200, but in case of Vadicharla, right, it was 190 to 300. So here you can see percentage area irrigated per well was 2.5 in Kharif season and Rabi 1.24. And then the total cost of the well irrigation per acre per year in rupees was 25,000 to 70,000. But same thing you can just have a look over there in case of Vadicharla. It is almost been less comparatively, right? So it was very less in case of small farmer. The total cost of the well irrigation, if it is been that much, how is it that they are going to survive? what is helping them in, like, so, like, even though they are able to get less income and then spending more, it's a loss for them. Same, then an income on the crops, we can just have a look. It was there, based on the type large and the small farmers from Padicharla and Vanaparthi areas. There you can see the crop pattern has totally been changed, and then the amount of income is also been increasing comparatively wherever a proper technique, a proper method is being opted for. And at the end, what could be the annual income? Right, it has been comparatively, right, though the number of wells comparatively were less in Vanaparthi, because of them moving on for certain techniques of saving water, it has helped them to conserve and then helping in recharging of the groundwater levels, and then see that the outcome or the income of these people has been, right, been enough for their survival. Yeah, so based on this, right, how to conserve water, how to help, so like, check the utility of water and all. A project of the Center for Sport Solidarity by Secunderabad AP, that addresses sustainability of groundwater, has intervened to help in recharging the wells that were drying up in the villages was seen. So what are its motives? That is, it is encouraging more water sharing among the farmers. That is, the farmers, well, if in a village or certain areas, in they have enough water, they can share it among the other farmers who lack it. That is, there would be levels where, farms are being there, or a land is there. If something is in an elevated area, availability of water comparatively will be less. So they can be shared from the people who have some amount of water stored with them. Same thing. Next thing, opting for micro irrigation techniques. What are micro irrigation techniques? Micro irrigation techniques are nothing but where people would be utilizing minimal amount of water for farming purpose. That is something like they can go with drip irrigation. Water would be falling drop by drop, so that enough amount of water is being absorbed by roots and more amount of water doesn't go waste, simply getting percolated in the land. Another thing, soak pits, rainwater can be used up so that it is being percolated. Utilizing these soak pits, water can easily get percolated in the deep layer, and so that groundwater level gets recharged. So whenever the monsoons are over, right, so the waste ground level water can be utilized for farming. Next, dikes and barriers, so that water is not lost to the lower areas. And finally, all of these procedures were helping in tapping of groundwater optimally, isn't it? Can we say that? Yes, we can say that all of these techniques were helping in, like, like saving enough amount of water to the ground levels, and then saving enough ground levels. With this, we end up with this subtopic, and then we'll continue in the next class. Thank you.